Hello, I'm Emma Spurgin Hussey. I'm an actor and writer.
Hello, I'm Rory Wilton, and I'm also an actor and voiceover artist, and all sorts of things. John.
Hello, my name is John Micheal Foulger. I'm represented by Mary Liz Management, and I'm a professional actor.
Hello, I'm Stewart Rome, also represented by Mary Liz Management, and I've returned to acting in the last 3.5 years.
And I'm Angela Elliott, and I'm a scriptwriter of too many years to remember them all. So we're going to be reading a flashback sequence for a script that we read earlier by Dan McCurry. Exterior High Street Malden Day, screen title June the 10th, 1958, a mock Tudor suburb in South London. Interior Bank Lobby, High Street Malden Day. Elderly but glamorous Tom Major Ball, 70s, has forever smile and no shortage of energy. Sat in the waiting room, he is suited up for a meeting with the manager and takes a deep breaths to soothe his stage fright. This is John Major's dad. A secretary calls out, "Mr. Major Ball."
Present.
Tom follows her through. Interior Banker's Office Day. Mr. Walker, 65, is the bank manager sitting across the desk from Tom.
I'm very sorry to disappoint you, Mr. Major Ball. Your proposal is very good, but I'm afraid you fall outside of our lending criteria.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Mr. Walker.
You have a sound business, good cash flow, growing customer base. It's a shame we can't help.
Do I get to hear the reasons for that, Mr. Walker?
I'll tell you the harsh truth. The bank has strict criteria on age. Anyone over the age of 50 cannot receive a loan. I'm afraid both you and I would not qualify.
Well, you know what they say, Mr. Walker. You're only as old as you feel.
I very much agree. If they had their way, I'd be pensioned off tomorrow. I feel it's very unfair.
I'm sure we can do something, Mr. Walker.
No. I tried to ask for some special dispensation for you. No luck.
This business, it's not for my future, it's for my boys. That's what drives me. You have to imagine that with a life like mine on the road, I've never put down roots. Having a family late in life, it is a kind of immortal. Are going to have their time. That's what gets me up in the morning. If I didn't have this business, I don't know what I'd do with myself. You've got to help me, Mr. Walker.
I'm afraid it will be the same wherever you go.
My son, John, I was hoping he could take over from me. We're pretty sure he's going to university. But when he comes back, he's a natural for figures, for current affairs, everything.
It really is final.
My house as collateral. Surely that's enough.
I've looked. I've tried to make it work. It's just not enough.
Your next appointment, Mr. Walker?
I'm sorry, Mr. Walker. I thought that when you called me in for a meeting, then...
Yes, well, perhaps it should have been a letter. I felt the need to tell you personally.
Must be something you can do.
It is final, Mr. Major Ball.
Well, thank you for being straight with me, Mr. Walker.
Mr. Major Ball, there was a reason for me to call you in. Rather selfish, really. You see, when I saw your name, then your signature...
He pulls out a small old album and flicks through the pages of autographs.
I had to search through the attic, but I found it. I was a teenager.
You were an autograph hunter, Mr. Walker?
Every show I ever saw and some. The Lyceum, 1934, you see. And here is the form you filled out for the bank. Exactly the same.
He places a bank form signature beside the autograph, a perfect match.
I knew it was unprofessional to call you in, especially since it was only to deliver bad news. I'm afraid I couldn't help myself.
2,100 seats. That was a night to remember. We made them laugh. We made them cry.
And then you had us on our feet singing Auld Lang Syne. The entire audience. We were roaring. Yours was the best act of the night, by far.
He is pressed for time, Mr. Walker.
You know what Stan Laurel once said to me? They'll never forget how you made them feel.
They were wonderful days. I'm sorry for wasting your time. I hope you'll forgive an old fan. I thought you deserved the respect.
Tom gulps back an emotion and restores his smile.
Well, thank you for seeing me, Mr. Walker.
Mr. Major Ball, Tom, we'll never forget how you made us feel.
Tom recovers his smile and leaves. Interior bank lobby day. Tom follows the secretary across the lobby. As Tom walks towards the exit, a pain rushes through his left arm. Goodbye, Mr. Major Ball. Tom walks out into the street. Exterior High Street day. Tom rests on a bench. He's panting as if he's just had a mini heart attack. He looks a wreck, as if his whole life is crashing down around him. His eyes fill with tears. Exterior Rutlish Grammar School day. A neat modern grammar school, the kind of neat concrete architecture that looks good when it's new but will quickly deteriorate. Schoolboys in smart uniforms arriving at school. One of them is young John, 16, with his pebble-thick glasses, daydreaming of cricket stardom.
John Major, bowling for England.
Miming young John runs forward and bowls.
And it spins and out.
John leaps about as thousands cheer in his mind.
The crowd have gone wild. John Major has won it for England.
The moment he reaches the gate, John returns to reality. Exterior Longfellow Road, Worcester Park, night. A suburban world of privet hedges in this quiet, modest street. However, the peace is somewhat broken by the rocking party at number 23, the Major family home. A scruffy but fun house with gnomes on the driveway. Interior living room, Major family home day. The party is going great. The living room is packed out. The hallway and kitchen are packed. Tom has an audience for his showbiz tales.
I don't know if you've ever driven in America, but at junctions they have these stop signs. It's a big red circle with the word stop written in big red letters. Now, I ask you, if you see a stop sign, can you possibly guess what you're supposed to do?
Stop!
Stop!
Correct. But the thing about Charlie Chaplin, he can't drive at the best of times. And when he's drunk, he can't even find the bloody brake pedal with his foot, can he? So we're flying along. Next thing you know...
Young John is dressed in his Sunday best and carries a silver tray of aperitifs, offering them to the guests. Ooh, lovely, sardines, luxury. Young John glides along, playing the game of being the most elegant manservant in the world. In his daydream, we hear the voice of an Indian Maharaja.
The English butler is the supreme servant in all the world. The class, the style, the dignity of the man. John Major, snatched from the cricket fields of England to serve in our palace.
Young John gracefully offers the aperitifs to the guests.
You remember me, son?
Young John snaps out of his daydream to find Herbert, 75, an old actor in a crumpled suit and face makeup, speaking to him.
I used to do an act with your dad, but before you were born, son.
I remember it very well, sir. Have an aperitif.
Oh, thank you, son. I will.
Young John's mum is Gwen, 50, vivacious but neurotic. She speaks to an old friend. Oh, Gwen, he's such a handsome young man. You must be proud.
It's all too fast. How do we stop them from growing up, Sally? Isn't there a potion or something?
If there was, I'd buy it for myself, and no one else in the world would have a drop. They giggle like schoolgirls. As Tom moves past the guests, elderly spinster Edith, 65, speaks to him.
Tom, we really have to speak about the business.
Not now, Edith. It's a party.
If I hadn't promised my nephew that he would inherit...
Like I said earlier, we'll make a time to talk, Edith.
He says he's calling in the bailiffs. There was no contract, you see, between you and me. I just wanted to help. I didn't realise.
Edith, the business is doing great. We have orders queuing up. Just tell your nephew to give me time.
Tom, he says you didn't attend the court hearing.
Enjoy the party, Edith. I'll take care of everything.
Exterior cricket pitch, grammar school day. Major and his classmates in their cricket kit heading over to the pitch. Samuel, 30, a black cleaner, is picking up litter as they pass. Tubby, 16, a joker and a bully, taunts Samuel.
Hey, monkey, you missed a bit.
The other boys laugh and do monkey impersonations. Young John frowns and hangs back. As the other boys walk on, young John offers Samuel a mint.
Morning, Samuel. Have a mint.
Thank you, Mr. Major.
He goes to take a mint, then pauses when he sees Tubby staring at them. Samuel turns his back on young John and continues cleaning.
Do you have a problem, Major? No, I'm not the one with a problem, Tubby. You realise he's just a bully.
I know my place, sir.
I'm sorry for embarrassing you.
Young John jogs on to catch up with the others. Cricket strip. Young John catches the others where the sports teacher, Mr. Brick, is unpacking kit.
Sir, John Major's a socialist, sir. No, I'm not.
Shame on you, Major.
I'm not a socialist. His whole family votes Labour. They don't. They sing the red flag on Christmas Day. He told me. That's not true. My family are respectable people. Both my parents vote Tory. Don't believe it, sir.
You'll never come to anything, Major.
John bites his tongue. At the crease, John walks to the crease. He looks across Tubby, who snarls at him. He looks at Mr. Brick, who stares back. The bowler sends a fast one, and John whacks it across the field. Tubby chases the ball and falls. He looks furious as everyone cheers John.
Well done, Major.
That's the end of our excerpt.
Section.
Mm.
Okay, thoughts on this, Stewart?
I found it quite interesting, actually. I don't know anything about John Major's background, so this was all new to me, and I did find it quite interesting. Good characters, well written and drafted, and it flowed quite well, nicely. The scenes were good. It's intriguing, and I want to know more. And obviously, I didn't read the earlier script that you all read, so this is part of it or an attachment to it. So, it was very impressive in my view.
Okay. Sorry, just trying to get rid of that. John, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's in the same theme as the previous one that we read, because it's about the same person. But like Stewart said, I knew nothing about his parents or his early life. Absolutely nothing. So all this is new to me, and obviously news to me as well. But yes, I enjoyed it, and I definitely want to know where the rest of it is.
Rory?
It's interesting. After having obviously read the earlier section we did, we all had questions. What's this for? Where's it go? It's clear now where it's going. That we are sort of looking at the kind of formation of John Major as the politician we got to know. So I thought it was really good, actually. I think it's going to be a really interesting insight into a very well-known politician's life that we as the public obviously didn't really know very much about. An interesting family. There's some very interesting characters there, and I enjoyed reading it very much. And be fascinated to see how it carries on.
Oh, Emma.
Lovely, thank you. No, I enjoyed it also, and I thought, although we didn't have the name, I thought it was by the same hand as the John Major going to Parliament for the first time with his sandwiches excerpt that we read before. Quite a similar sort of style. I think it's very interesting that this is set, I believe, this bit in 1958, and it's quite interesting because it's got a style of some of the films that were around at that time, and I'm not quite sure the exact dates, but I was thinking about things like well, maybe it prefigures a bit, but like Walter Mitty and also Billy Liar, those kind of fantasy sequences, and it's got a kind of rollicking, quite broad style. I noticed that we were kind of like leaning towards that sort of playing style, and I liked the I like the sort of, is it dramatic irony when we know certain things about the characters that they don't know? I can never remember what these things are called. And so I think it is, and it's just nice that he's being described as strapping and handsome, and that we actually have a lot of empathy for him, actually, because he seems sort of in his way quite decent. And I'm interested in the structure. I wonder how, will we just have a section that's the past, or will it weave in and out of the current, as we move forward from him starting his life as an MP? I'm curious about how it's all going to fit together. But I just thought, there's a lot of fun to be had in this, and yeah, occasionally I think the dialogue could do with a little bit of both sharpening and roughing up, if that makes sense. So it doesn't seem quite so written, and also maybe a tiny bit less of it. But yeah, I like Tom Major Ball. I think he's great fun, and yeah, you feel very sorry for him going in to see the bank, because I think we've all been there where they've not given us an overdraft or a loan or whatever, and because you work in the arts or have done, and so yeah, it's very interesting, and I think that but there's this sort of rather poignant thing about him, the bank manager wanting to see him because he's a fan, and in a way, Tom Major Ball gets something from that meeting, even if it's not the sorely needed money. So yeah, and even though it's a party, we've still got Edith talking about court cases and bailiffs and things, so that there's something kind of breathing down their neck, and this is kind of just nicely, I think, pointed there. Yeah, it's good fun. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. I echo everything everyone has said. Just one point about naming characters. Gwen's old friend is apparently Sally. We learn that from Gwen herself. I wonder, therefore, why she's not called Gwen, why she's not just called Sally. I think, we would just describe her as Sally, who is Gwen's old friend, and then she can have a name in the dialogue. That was really the only, the little niggle that I thought, other than that, I like the way it flowed. I'm just wondering where it fits in the script itself. Obviously can't be immediately after the bit that we read. We read the first 10 pages, or does it? I don't know. And we don't normally read sections from the middle of something, so we're missing the context of this. But other than that, I thought it flowed very nice. I think maybe the conversation with Mr. Walker is maybe just a little bit too long. I don't know. You don't normally get like big chunky 10-minute flashbacks, do you? Flashbacks are normally quite short and sweet. So I'm just wondering whether this flashback could be actually chopped up and served in smaller sections, but we'd still get the whole the whole feel. I don't know. You see, we don't know where it is in the script, but yeah, it's a nice view into the family life. I love that his father was in show business. I didn't know that.
I did. Ran away to become an accountant.
But the other thing that does run through my mind, and I think we probably pointed this out when we read the previous one, was that John Major is very much still alive, and you will have difficulties getting this made on that basis alone, because it will have to go past compliance lawyers very heavily, and may well get big red lines all the way through it. For that reason, it would be possibly better to be writing this in conjunction with Mr. Major. It's one of those things. It's very difficult to write about someone who's still alive. Maybe he is. I don't know. Or maybe this, Dan, you are.
Well,
Major,
you say that, but they just got on with it with The Crown, haven't they?
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
They don't consult everybody on that, I'm sure. They don't
well, no, they don't consult everybody, but they will have gone past lawyers.
Oh, they've gone through compliance, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But,
so just a thing, just something to think about. But yeah, great. Carry on. Okay, thank you for that. Nice script.